Welcome back. This is Sudha, the Chief Consultant at ProXel, and we are back with another episode of Adding Value, Impacting Lives, where we call guests, subject experts, and industry leaders to share, suggest, and give their opinions in their area of expertise. Now, talking about the area of expertise, we have a wonderful guest here today, and she's Miss Kerrie Phipps, all the way from Australia. Welcome, Kerrie. Welcome to our program, and it's wonderful, amazing, and really good of you. Nice of you to spare your time to be here on the program. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Sudha. It's just really lovely to connect with you and seeing your profile on LinkedIn and discussing our mutual friends. And it's just been a joy to connect with you and hear about the great work that you're doing with ProXel.
Thank you so much, Kerrie. Thanks a lot. Now, a brief introduction about Kerrie. What can I say? She's an amazing person, for sure. She's a wonderful person and very positive, very energetic. She's a speaker, a coach, and an author of multiple books, including the bestseller, Do Talk to Strangers, How to Connect with Anyone, Everyone, Everywhere, Anywhere, sorry. So this is a must read. It's an amazing book, and I guess it's a bestseller for no reason. I mean, the fact that it is wonderful, and I think all of us should read it. As a speaker, she inspires audience to connect confidently and authentically with the people in the world, could be your colleagues, your customers, your family, friends, and even strangers. And she strongly believes that you open a lot of doors for all kind of wonderful opportunities by doing so. Now, as a coach, Kerrie unpacks thinking, she generates insights, and she definitely facilitates a lot of transformation. And her study in the field of social neuroscience and leadership inspires amazing accomplishment and a very positive change in the minds of her clients. Now, as an author of this wonderful book, Do Talk to Strangers, she demonstrates that connecting with people is the most important, essential ingredient for success in life and business. Welcome once again, Kerrie. Welcome to our show.
Thank you, Sudha.
Yeah. Kerrie, growing up, each one of us have been told as kids by our parents, grandparents, that do not talk to strangers, don't be too open, don't be too free, right? And that kind of left a social and an emotional guard on our mind. Whereas in your book, Do Talk to Strangers, you recommend and you demonstrate and you talk a lot about encouraging people to connect with strangers. Now, could you help us understand why should we talk to strangers and how this entire thing goes about? How is it useful to
us? I love that you said, why should we? Because the fact is, it's not that we should, it's that we do. And we want to do it well. We're driven to connect. We look for opportunities to connect, but then fear comes up. And I see this so often where people, they might see somebody and they want to smile and say hi, and then they think, oh, I shouldn't do this. So it really is ingrained. But my parents didn't actually teach me don't talk to strangers. I don't remember them actually teaching me to, but they demonstrated connection and welcome and hospitality. And you've just reminded me of this moment where I was speaking in India in 2017 to a room full of teachers, and we were just celebrating I was, celebrating with them the difference that teachers make. I was reminding them, and we talked about the conversations that we have with students. And so, of course, we're also talking about talking to strangers, the book's there. And one of the teachers said, we grew up doing long train trips in India. And we would take our chapatis from home and we would share on the train. We would connect with other people in the carriage and we would make friends on those trips. And just recently I was in India, in Coimbatore and then Chennai. And there was a young man in an IT company who said to me, we grew up, making friends on the trains. And then they were friends for life. We would write letters to them. And so we are drawn to connect. And I think you see children being free because children often detect whether someone is, open and safe to connect with.
Yeah.
And sometimes children will feel like guarded with somebody, and you might realize later why. It's like that person wasn't really being themselves. Maybe they weren't there with the best intentions. But to see children connect, and they will play with, you know, children from other races, other countries, and there's just this pure connection. And so I think we actually lose that as we go through, you know, education and learn about what we should do, but it's innate in us to connect. So I think we just need to think about it more and go, how do we do it well? How do I make the best connections? And yeah, so it's been a really exciting journey to unpack that. And it's because of people asking me, how did you connect with that person? And I would just tell a story about, like, I met this person and then they connected me to this person, and then all these cool things are happening.
Yeah.
And, you know, and the other thing was they'd say, but how do you build an international business when you're from Dubbo, which is a regional town in Australia, so 6 hours inland from Sydney? And people were just marveling that I had international clients from this regional home base. And I was like, well, I guess I just talk to people, because I didn't have a marketing budget. I wasn't, you know, it was like 2004. It was just kind of expensive to build a website. And I was just having conversations with people and, you know, emails and Skype. I think that was pretty much our option. But it was just the connecting and referring, and just the beauty of human connection occurring in a way that grew my business, that grew other people's business also.
Okay, that's amazing. I think that makes a lot of sense, and it's a lot of information for the fact that we tend to talk to people, and we'll be surprised, amazed with my experience that they come back to you and their amazing connections done. So it's more word of mouth and self-introduction, of understanding and promotion, all that. So I guess, yeah, the more we speak, the more connects we make, and that's necessary in every
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And you just reminded me, when we were in Coimbatore just recently, I did introduce myself to somebody, because we stepped into the lift and there was this, you know, beautiful Indian woman stepped in, and her clothes were stunning. And I just went, oh, I really love your clothes. Like, did you get that locally? And she said she was from Mumbai, and that's where she bought it. But she was making recommendations about where to get great fabrics and beautiful clothes. And it was just such a lovely conversation. And then we walked away to our rooms, and I said to my husband, that I wouldn't have talked to her more, and not just about clothes. That was just the thing that sort of inspired the connection.
Right.
But I said, I can just tell by her demeanor, she's a professional businesswoman, like and she's just got this beautiful grace. I just would love to have another conversation with her. And he ran into her the next morning in the lift, and he said, oh, my wife wanted to talk to you more. And she said, yes, I'd love to talk to her. And the following day we ended up having breakfast together, and she's a Rotarian. I've connected her with another Rotarian friend in Canada, in the US. And she's connected me with her husband, and we've had great connections online since. And I know I'll see them when I go back to Mumbai. And it was just that little moment of connection in the lift, where people say people don't talk in lifts anymore. But you can, if you're inspired by something. It's not about trying to manufacture it and going, oh, there's a professional looking person, I should meet them because maybe they'll be the key to my business. It's like, no, let go of that and just go, that's really lovely. I'll just comment on that. And if they look at me like, why are you talking to me? Just make a joke of it and just say, oh, I just was so inspired by that I just had to say something. And they'll just probably laugh. Oh, okay. And if they've got things on their mind, they might just, go into their day and forget about it. Never mind. It's just good practice to connect with people. But often it can turn into something beautiful. And I think just not being attached to the outcome is a really powerful way to do that, because then you're not getting all anxious.
Absolutely. And it makes beautiful connections. And we do realize it's a small world after all. I mean, there's many similarities, and we connect somewhere, we like somewhere, and it could be the best thing happening ever in your life.
Yes. Yeah. It often is the highlight of someone's day when somebody will tell me like, I met this person, and they unpack this story, and you go, that's really cool. I just love seeing the delight on people's faces when they've met somebody new.
Absolutely, Kerrie. Thanks for sharing that. Now, in your book, Do Talk to Strangers, there's this amazing asking model, ASKING model that you've described so beautifully. Oh, yes, that's the one. That's the one. It's just amazing in every aspect. I think it does a 360 degrees whole kind of an understanding of why we should well, you're the pro there. So I just wanted to understand from you what is this model all about, and how can we apply it to the virtual scenario, considering the fact that we're all going virtual with the lockdown, and
Yeah.
it's like trending and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It takes a bit to step through the whole thing, but I'll just start with awareness. Like the A, the asking model is about awareness, but also just the word asking itself. It's about curiosity. It's about permission. So we might, send a little message. Do you have a couple of minutes, rather than just picking the phone up and calling somebody. We know that our WhatsApp can get very, very busy, or our Messenger. So rather than just hitting call, we might say, hi, do you have 5 minutes? Or build some relationship first if they are a stranger, please. But send a personal note. Find that sense of permission. It might not be a permission question like, can I please? But check in if there's a sense of permission, and I guess you did that when we connected. We've had a couple of great conversations since then, but you just reached out. And there's the curiosity. When we're curious, then again, that pressure to make something happen disappears, and we just go, where could this go? So just keep in mind that asking is about curiosity and permission. But it's also an acronym. So A is for awareness, and we really need to start with awareness of ourselves and then awareness of others. So for example, especially in a virtual world, although we can look at if there's anyone else in your household, then we can apply this here too. How are we connecting with our nearest and dearest? Because sometimes you're a stranger to yourself, let alone a stranger to other people in your household. You don't know what they're thinking about a particular news story. You don't know what they're thinking about other things that you might make an assumption. Oh, they probably think this. No, we can't guess that. But to take time for self-awareness is vital, especially at the moment, because we are in such disrupted times. There's so much uncertainty, and the brain hates uncertainty. It's like, it's such a threat. We can't focus on something. We can't just focus on a task because we have this question, but I'm not sure when I can travel next, but I'm not sure, if my job will still be there when I go back. I'm not sure. There's so many things we're uncertain of. So we need to take time to listen to ourselves and to look at things that maybe we can be certain of. Like, I am certain that here I am today. I've got a beautiful network online. I've got like maybe this other person in my household. I have been through challenging times before. What can you give yourself some reassurance with? But noticing what's the conversation in your head, because it will get in the way of a great conversation with somebody else. Have you ever noticed that sometimes you're distracted and then you think, I don't know what they just said. Like maybe a child is saying, Mum, I really need to talk to you about this. And you're like, yep. And then you're like, uh-oh, I should have listened. Now I don't know what they're talking about. What did I just say yes to? So yeah, we need to be taking time, to meditate, or just to breathe, or to journal, to write out. I actually woke up at 2:30 this morning, and I'm very good at sleeping, but it's just been a really big week, and I'm writing a book at the moment, and there were so many people and so many conversations in my head that at 2:30 I'm like, okay, I'm wide awake. So let's just get up, let's just write it out. And that's another great self-awareness tool. And also, I think in terms of self-awareness at the moment, it's very much a need for self-compassion and kindness towards ourselves. And then we can also be more empathetic and kind to others. We can, remember times, whether this is in this season right now or beyond this, we could walk into a networking function or into some situation where maybe now we're confident, and it's useful to remember, I didn't always feel like this. Maybe other people feel a bit nervous, whether you're nervous or not. Maybe not everybody is comfortable with this situation. And now, maybe the person that I'm about to call is really distressed by what's going on right now. Maybe I should take a moment to just go, how are you going with all of this?
Yeah.
What's been the best thing this week? What's been the toughest thing? And just be okay with what is. Just to, we can't move through it when it's just a voice in our head just going, hey, look at this. This is going on. This is going on. It's stressing me out.
Right.
We've got to listen to ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, and then there's small steps, and each step of the asking model, you know, has got little steps that you can take away to increase your confidence to connect. And, you know, I do a workshop called Connect with Confidence, but it really, if I could have a longer title, I would say how to connect with confidence and authenticity.
Right. Yeah.
Because sometimes I think we try and work ourselves into a state of confidence, but if it's not authentic, if we're trying to put forward some incorrect picture of who we are, then of course we're anxious. But if we can connect authentically, then it makes it easy for others to connect with us also.
Right.
So yeah, so we won't go into all the steps, but if people would like to read the whole asking model, then you can go onto my LinkedIn, and there is a download there that's like the first couple of chapters of the book, so you can see the asking model.
Sure.
Yeah. So, but gratitude is the end of the asking model. So if we're to look at the beginning and the end of it, like bookends, gratitude is a powerful connector, and I think we can really take the time at the moment to increase our awareness of how we express gratitude. Because we could just say a simple thank you, or we could say thank you because, like, I am grateful because you took the time to have this conversation, or I'm grateful because you put so much effort into the way that you do your work. And acknowledging people for effort is a really powerful thing. And so it's specific gratitude. And if you know Carol Dweck's work, Mindset, it's one of the books that I recommend in this book. You know, there's growth mindset and there's fixed mindset. And so when I first saw that, it was at the Neuro Leadership Summit in San Francisco in 2011, and she was presenting with the HR executive of Twitter.
Okay.
And I just rang my husband and I said, we need to be very careful how we acknowledge our 11-year-old because it was very much, he was surrounded by people saying, you're so smart, you're so smart. And it's like, oh, that could drive a fixed mindset. Let's look at growth mindset. And so acknowledging effort, regardless of whether the exam result was like 70% or 90% or 100%. It's like really put in a great effort there. You know, thank you for the effort that you put in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So awareness, acknowledgement, self-compassion, gratitude, amazing things. I guess they all have to get together. And like you mentioned, that they are all the essential ingredients for success in life and business, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Because there's so much more detail in there, you know, with the quality questions and all of the practical helps. But starting with self-awareness is so important and being kind to ourselves.
Yes, absolutely. Now, Kerrie, in today's time, we see most of the relationships, they're more like a business association where people tend to, consider their time and effort. If it's going to be value in return, then probably they'll go for it. Otherwise, I mean, it's so conditional. Like they just want something out of it in return. Well, considering the fact that we do not have much time in today's time, and also the effort aspect also may not happen, what would you suggest, or rather give us some tips on how we can make the best friendship, whatever kind of relation, in the shortest time possible?
Well, I think this comes back to authenticity, actually, because we can very easily get a sense of, I like this person, like the woman that I met in the lift.
Yeah.
But if we are looking for, how can this be, you know, mutually beneficial business, we don't know that, and we're just making assumptions. And if it's in a short space of time, do we just make an assumption based on what they're wearing or what they've just posted on LinkedIn? Although that can be insightful, because you do pick up a tone in people's sharing. You do pick up a sense of authenticity, and it really is about letting go of assumptions and listening to your intuition. You know, if you like this person, then you might go, hey, can we have like a 15-minute call? Or, you know, maybe let's block out half an hour and just have a chat and see, you know, what resonates. What are you doing? What are you working on? How can I serve? And I think having an attitude of service to others, just being open to that. It's not just curiosity, but it's service. How can I serve? And really beautiful things can occur. So I love not being attached to the outcome and just paying attention, because we do tend to, you know, that old cliche or that old quote, you know, birds of a feather flock together.
Right.
You get a sense of people, you're like, yeah, I like this one. I feel like we could sit down and have a really long coffee, wine session. And so follow that and just go, tell me more about yourself. What lights you up? And I think and this is quality questions. So we'll just sneak back into the asking model for a moment. But quality questions are ones that put a smile on your face. If I'm to ask you, what's your favorite thing to do with your family? What inspired you to start this business that you're doing? If I say, tell me about your business, then I might set you up to then go into giving me detail about, your elevator pitch, you're explaining all the key benefits. And I'm like, okay, that's good. But if I say, what inspired you to start this? Or what do you love most about your business? Wow, there's a smile on your face and you can't wait to tell me about it. Oh, yeah. So thinking about how we ask people questions to set them up for authenticity. So we ask them questions that help them to be themselves, questions that put them at ease. Because it's easy for you to tell me what inspires you. But if I ask you a question that maybe is technical, or maybe it's about global economies or something, and you're like, oh, now I have to sound impressive and professional and knowledgeable, and it just puts you under pressure. Absolutely. So why would I do that to you? And why would I want someone to ask me those questions when I'll be like, I don't know. I want to have the conversations about things that matter, because when people light up, you get the best of them.
Right. Amazing. I guess that personal connect that you make through the questions, the right questions, which kind of gives you an opportunity to express yourself, your opinion, your likes, and also connect with the other person in a certain way. That creates the bonding, and I guess that's the trick. No agenda, no particular reasons, no conditioned thoughts. Just go with the flow, believe in your intuition, and that's the trick.
Yeah, I think trusting your intuition is really powerful. And, since I really shifted into that space, maybe about 15 years ago, it's just changed everything. It takes the pressure off and helps you make the best decisions.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much, Kerrie, for giving us such deep insights of how we actually need to connect and bond. And the fact that it just doesn't have to be in person, it could be virtually, because the same thing you do is drop a message, acknowledge, appreciate, show your gratitude without a reason. It could just be the feel-good factor kind of a thing, right?
Yes. Yeah, I think if you think it, then take action on it. Yesterday I had a conversation with a gorgeous girl in the Philippines, and she's a coach and speaker. And she just mentioned that she loves Australian trees. So later, when I sent her a message to say, thank you so much for your time today, I said, here's something from our walk last week. And it's a massive tree. It's so big, and I had my arms right around it. I couldn't even reach around it. There was still tree on either side. It was huge. And she was like, oh, that's amazing. So sometimes it's just, send your gratitude, but with something that might really light them up, like, if you love coffee, I could send you a little photo of a coffee and just say, thinking of you when I'm having coffee today. And it's just a little specific expression of connection.
Absolutely. I totally believe and, trust that intuition, connection, all these aspects are amazing. Yeah. So, Kerrie, is there anything else that you would like our viewers to know? Anything that you would like to share, please?
Oh, I was just thinking about how I look forward to meeting you at some stage.
Same here.
When I'm back in India, and we'll be like, oh, when did we connect? It feels like we must have seen each other face to face before. You can forget that relationships are just virtual. But if you actually, one thing I would say, I would recommend, I'm happy for people to connect, you're welcome. But I highly recommend that when you want to connect with somebody on LinkedIn, on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, to just send a little personal note, because then you go from just another click to, oh, there's a connection. Like if somebody says, oh, I'm reaching out to you today because I saw your conversation with Sudha, then we go, oh, that's awesome. That's that little connection. So send a personal note. If you want to connect with anybody, just let them know why. Just go, your profile really inspired me because, and give them something specific. Because if you go, you read it and you go, oh, they've copied and pasted that. They're just obviously sending it to like 1 million people to get like stacks of connections on LinkedIn. But when it's personal, just something small that says, I have seen your profile. You're not just another number to me. That, it's a helpful connector.
Yeah, in fact, if we can just go into their profile and try to connect in different aspects, which could be common. like
Yes.
trainers and coaches. I try to compliment them on the work they do, and what could be common that I'm also into the same area of work, the
Yeah.
workspace, and even on a personal friend, if they're doing some kind of a service out of their passion, and I can
Yeah.
relate to it, and
Yes.
it I just send them a small note saying that this is amazing. I just love the way that you're doing things, and I would love to know more. And they're all the more excited, and they come back and say, yeah, this is what we do. And all I know is I get a list of stuff that they do, which is amazing. I mean, it's great to connect and know
Yeah.
different aspects of it. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Absolutely.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
Kerrie, that was amazing.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you had something to share. Please go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say I can share links with you later
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you'd like. But there's the like Amazon link, which has got all of my books listed on there.
Right, that would be wonderful for the viewers. And I would
Yeah.
strongly recommend and suggest that you just get onto those books and start reading, because it could be a lifetime change, a total transformation in the way you look at things, the way you approach, and you yourself could transform into a different, better person in different aspects, of course. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. So thank you so much, Kerrie. It was amazing having you on our video series, and the kind of suggestions, the insights, and wonderful tips are going to be really useful for all our viewers and the audience out there. So we look forward to knowing more, and of course reading more of your books as well. And thank you, viewers, for your valuable time and watching us on this show. And Kerrie, once again, appreciate your time, and it's been amazing connecting with you. And as we
Thank
speak,
you.
we would want each one of you to stay home, stay safe, and we'll all get to meet and connect with each other someday very soon. Yes.
Thank you, Sudhan. Thank you, ProXel. And yeah, everyone who's joined us for this conversation. Take
Thank you
care.
so much. Thank you. Bye bye, Kerrie. Bye bye.
Bye.